Welcome back everyone to my channel, which has been renamed. It seems like this poor old channel has went through quite a few transformations over the years. It's all been rooted though in sound business practices, based on my experience, and that's still where it's at. The reason I haven't been posting quite as often lately is I kind of started up an AI business solutions automation segment or division within my main consulting business, because I was doing that really already. And actually I was heading into other things with real estate and my online store and a few other things. But AI is just like, you think you're out and it pulls you back in. AI just started accelerating in the rate of new tools. It seems like every 5 minutes out there, and it's kind of reinvigorated my love for IT, which I've spent well over 30 years doing. At the lowest level and the highest level, I've been down in the trenches coding or system administration and all that stuff, working third shift, batch processing way back in the 90s, and you name it. I've touched everything in IT, and ultimately though I've been the CTO, CIO, things like that, IT director, VP, done it all at the executive level as well. So that's kind of where this channel is. It's not just just reading off a script and telling you the top 10 of what works and what doesn't that anybody can do. My value comes from me actually being out in that world and knowing what really does work, I hope. So, I think some of the best channels, not just with AI, but in business and things like that, I can look at a Dan Martell or even with Alex, people like that they really do it, and that's what makes their advice or the recommendations so valuable. And I'm not at that level, but that I compare myself to them. But I would, hopefully I'll get there eventually, or at least there's a snippet here and there that kind of resonates with someone. Anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying I need to do more videos. But this particular one, I think it's going to really be a good one because in the AI world, everybody, at least my videos, and it's algorithm or my feeds rather, my social media feeds, the algorithm just sends me a million things related to AI, and the big one is all these AI agencies that you see everywhere, all these white label AI agencies. Well, what's the big deal with that, you might say? Why are all these things popping up in my feed, for $37, get started, we'll do all the work for you, blah, 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 we'll set you up, you'll make $1 million next week kind of stuff. Well, all that is kind of rooted in one platform, and it's GoHighLevel, right? So and I thought, well, I'm going to talk about GoHighLevel with my experience with it, and I don't intend really to bash it because it's really useful for if you go in with your eyes wide open, you know what it does and what it's intended to do. Well, okay, well that it works. And I'll tell you another thing. There's a guy that's got a book, the AI agency, and I think what he's doing is great. I actually bought his book and I read his book, and but it's all about automated GoHighLevel, to co-call people is kind of where they're doing. And well, really, it's like reawakening dead leads. So that's where all the money is at. You take all these dead leads and you get someone to pay you a percentage of all the ones that you actually convert, which is cool. I mean, if you use AI to do that, okay, good. It works. But really, the point is all these ads that you see for all this stuff. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably is too good to be true. But In the realm though of GoHighLevel, we'll talk about it. We'll do a little pros and cons. Okay, let's get into it. All right, what is GoHighLevel? Let's start there. It's basically an all-in-one sales marketing and CRM platform. It's really, it's got funnels, email, SMS, it'll do your bookings, your pipelines, your automations. You can white label dashboards. Really, it's the buffet of digital marketing. Everything that you can think of is probably, if it doesn't do it, it's got an integration to do it somewhere. So digital agencies, and specifically marketing agencies, that's kind of all the people that really discovered its value, I guess. Because of that, you can take one platform and you can run your whole agency on it. But it's kind of branched out from there. So you've got everyone from realtors to roofers and everything in between. They're kind of getting sucked into that vortex of GoHighLevel. A lot of it is because it's been resold. It's been white labeled out to in certain markets, especially service businesses, people that have to do a lot of calling, either direction, inbound or outbound. And it's tempting. And the way it's tempting is someone that's downstream in a sub account. So if you're an agency and you're white labeling sub accounts out, well, you can charge them whatever you want. You don't, for them it may be cheaper than it is for you as an agency. So that's where you're seeing a lot of that $37 a month stuff. And if you can create unlimited sub accounts and just resell them like crazy, what do you really care? You've got a template you've already built and you create it once and you sell it 1,000,000 times. All right, there you go. Right. So hopefully you're kind of getting the point I'm making with this software, that you really got to understand who's using it as much as what it does. But there are pros to it. The good stuff, like I said, it's an all-in-one. So if you don't want to shop around and try to connect a bunch of stuff together, well, you've got it right there. Everything is all in one place, especially your CRM, so your customer relationship management, your email marketing, all your funnels and your scheduling. It's all unified. And kind of repeat myself a little bit, but it's white label ready, so you can resell it. You got all kinds of templates to do all the stuff, to automate, and your pipelines, your landing pages. It's all pre-built, and you can get going fairly quickly with it. You don't necessarily have to use Zapier for your integrations because it has native hooks between the modules, and it kind of streamlines a lot of the basic workflows. So if you're bootstrapping or just starting an agency, well, it's probably definitely worth looking at for that. In fact, I would go so far as say there's not many things that it probably does as good a job as GoHighLevel in that particular scenario. Now, for the cons, and like I say, I'm trying not to bash it because it's not a bad program at all. But you just, and to say it one more time, you just kind of know what it's supposed to do and whether it really fits what you think it's going to do, or you need it to do. So it's got a little bit of interface fatigue. It's been developed so quickly that it's a little bit clunky. It's a little bit overloaded. They call it the Frankenstein UX, because everything's kind of bolted together. So you might spend hours just toggling through tabs and trying to figure everything out. So there is a learning curve with it, especially if you're not tech savvy. That's why there's so many people out there with courses and air quote advice about it, that are willing to help you with it. But then, the native support from GoHighLevel, what's that like? Well, I'd say it's kind of hit and miss. Early on, when they're trying to win your business, oh, they're paying attention to you. They'll nurture you through the trial, and even after the trial, they're going to drip campaign you a little bit, like a recapture you, if you expire your trial. But speaking of trial, one thing you've got to watch out for is during the 14-day trial, you have to put in a credit card. Like not every trial you have to. Sometimes they'll just expire and then you're done. But with them, you do have to put in a credit card, and they will bill you if you're not careful. So and I've heard, although I didn't have this experience, I've heard that once you're billed, you're not going to get a refund. If something happens, you can run it to the next billing term, but and good luck with canceling too. If you start becoming a paying customer. But I've heard that. I've seen it on Reddit and things like that. So I don't know. I'm not going to say that's a fact, but just something to watch out for. It's got a little bit of code bloat. There's, the pages and the funnels and stuff like that. They do feel a little bit heavier than they probably should. But really, the biggest con that I'm kind of coming back to is everyone is selling it now. It was a really cool thing probably when it first came out. Let's say a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. Things are moving so fast. It was the new shiny thing that everyone discovered. Hey, this is the way to resell and make a lot of money. And then there's endless YouTube videos about it. There's all kinds of landing pages all over the internet trying to get you, hooked into it. But see, that's now it's saturated. That is the word. You've got AI agency saturation out there. It all looks the same. So when you commoditize something, it becomes all about price. And when it becomes all about price, what happens? It's a race to the bottom. It's whoever has the lowest price with the same amount of features, right? And it's all the same amount of features because it's the same product, but behind the scenes. So that's kind of the thing that turned me off about it. I really wanted to like it, and I don't necessarily have a digital marketing agency. I've got a business consulting agency that happens to do AI. So for me, it's not really an exact fit. So I kind of, I backed away. I just don't have a real good taste in my mouth about it, for my business. But not to say that it wouldn't work for someone else, or it obviously does because it's pretty popular. But that is kind of the cons. And one thing too to watch out with the pricing, and this is another thing that was really the deal breaker for me, is they have two pricing levels. They've got a starter, which is $97 a month. They've got the unlimited, which is $297 a month. And if you're just starting out an agency, or you're a small agency, you're on a budget, whatever, the 97, you think, well, maybe I can get by with that, right? Let's see what it's got. All the tools to capture more leads, nurture closed leads, unlimited contacts and users. Oh, well, that sounds good. You can set up to 3 sub accounts, so it's yourself, and because you got to set yourself up as a sub account, and then you got 2 more for 97 a month, so that gets you started. That sounds okay, right? Well, here's the thing that you've got to look at on the 297. It's the second line, API access, integrate with anything. And you're thinking, well, what do I need to integrate with? maybe I can integrate with Gmail or something like that, and I don't need it. Well, that is true. Some things, they've got some webhooks and things like that that you can probably get by with. However, the APIs that you really need to be a really good AI agency, you've got to do the 297. And I'm talking like voice agents for mainly. Thinker, which has, I'll say their voice agent's called Ava. I tried it for a while. It's really good. It's really kind of realistic. Um, but for me, I use Call Fluent not to digress too much, but Thinkers is pretty good, and it's developed really around GoHighLevel. So, but you've got to connect it in with an API, and to connect it in with an API, you got to spend $297 a month, not counting what you're going to spend at the base level 39 a month, I think, on the voice agent. So you're going to end up spending more than you think you are, and that's something to watch out for. Now the 297 a month, if you're really ramping up, and you're signing up clients and creating those sub accounts and all that, it doesn't matter. You're making that money back pretty quickly. But if you're not, and you're trying to just get through and determine if it's actually going to work for you, well, that's really the thing right there. That could be the deal breaker. All right. So that's really the last little thing I want to tell you about. Now, okay, you're probably thinking, well, Dave, you're not using GoHighLevel, so what are you using? I really want to know because uh, it sounds like you've kind of been doing a lot of research, right? I have. I will have to say I've probably demoed every single CRM system over the last 6 months that's in existence, on top of all the ones I was already using. And I've come from ERP background from working for large companies. I've implemented quite a few of them, Salesforce in particular, which I love, but it's expensive. Yeah, they got lower price plans, but kind of like a lot of those scotches, if you really want to, turn on all the cool features, it's not necessarily that cheap. So, but getting away from Salesforce, what's out there for small businesses? Well, there's a few that's actually pretty good, like Bonsai for a CRM. They're pretty good. Um, if you just need a very light CRM, there's nothing wrong with them. Pipe Drive works really good. I've demoed that and tried it, and was actually about to roll it out, and then I thought, well, before I do, I'm going to look around a little bit more, and ended up on Copper, and I like Copper, and the reason why is even though I come from the Microsoft world, I've kind of switched over to Google Workspace. Number one, because it's so easy to integrate with everything. I mean, Microsoft's always been a pain in the butt to integrate with everything because the way their APIs are set up. And so if you're doing Outlook or even Teams or anything like that, automation, you kind of got to go down the Copilot route or use something from Microsoft. But Google's been a little bit more open with with Gmail and Calendar and things like that. There's a lot of pre-built automations. Zapier, for example, has got a million of them, but not just them. Everyone does really. And so Copper has kind of been developed to focus on being really easy to integrate with Google Workspace, and that got my attention because I already had Workspace. I went with Copper. I plugged everything in together. I mean, it's really easy, and it's not very expensive. So for that reason, it does what it says it's going to do. It's a pretty good interface, and it integrates well with a lot of things. So in my opinion, it's perfect for what I do. And then, okay, so what about the email marketing and the landing pages and all that? Uh, that I've tried, I've looked around a lot, and I always came back to Mailchimp. And Mailchimp is probably, along with Constant Contact, are probably best of breed in their particular segment. And the difference, I would say, the differentiator between them, Constant Contact's just too expensive for a lot of small businesses. I mean, it's great, but gosh, and it kind of goes back to some of the other things that are great that are just too expensive for small businesses. So, but Mailchimp really isn't. For 20 bucks a month, you can get a lot done with Mailchimp, and it's got a really clean newsletter that you can design. Yeah, every element of your newsletter looks really clean. It formats well on mobile and desktop. The automations work. They're already built in, easy to activate, turn on. Um, so, yeah, for that, it works really well. Plus, it has landing pages. It includes a website if you want a website, to drive people to. For me, I've already got a website, so I just use the landing pages. So that Mailchimp is kind of replacing GoHighLevel in that regard. And then social media automation. Now, I've went down a lot of little rabbit holes with that, and I'll tell you, if you don't have a lot of social media channels, if you're only going to do LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram, something like that, then Buffer is probably the way to go, because they have a free level. You can get a couple of channels. They call it, their channels is a platform, either LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Twitter, or X, Twitter, whatever. But the caveat with Buffer is, beyond that, if you want to add more channels, it's $5 per channel per month. So, and if you got a lot of channels, you'll end up paying probably more for Buffer than some of the other options. And the other option that I landed on is SocialPilot, which I really didn't. I only discovered recently. Really, it wasn't really on my radar, and I just kept researching, and it's got a really good interface. It works really well, and it gives you a lot more channels. And off the top of my head, I can't tell you exactly how many, but it's more than two. I want to say it's like 9. So you can actually run your full social media stack, and automate your scheduling of all that. Real easy to use. So that's what I'm doing for that. And probably one other mention, going back to newsletters. If you really, Mailchimp now, if you're sending newsletters to your clients, customers, people in your contacts list, things like that, that's perfect. But if you're trying to build a newsletter audience that that you want to subscribe and monetize, I would probably go with Beehive. This Beehive that's what it's designed for. It's got its own ad network, and you can set it up to. But the thing now with Beehive, it sounds great. I've got an ad network. Okay, I'm gonna collect some ad revenue. Yeah, but you got to have a lot of subscribers to make any money. I'm talking hundreds of thousands before you actually get paid anything. It'll buy you a Diet Pepsi. I mean, it's crazy. So look into that. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm more of a best of breed type, or at least best of breed for me, which fits my business, right? And then the integration's easy anymore. If you don't have a built-in integration with the API or a webhook or whatever you need, well, you can use something like make.com, something like that, or even Zapier, or was it Paddle? It's late at night here, so folks, bear with me. Yeah, which is cheaper than Zapier, but for basic stuff, Zapier might be fine too, if you don't try to make it too expensive. But really the point is you can put everything together. Integration is a lot easier than it used to be. You don't necessarily have to do everything in one platform like GoHighLevel. So, and then a few other alternatives that beyond what I use. Now I've used HubSpot. Actually, I still have a subscription that was prepaid. It hasn't expired yet on HubSpot. That the starter suite. And for what HubSpot does, it's great. It integrates in with everything. That's why I picked it, because what doesn't integrate with HubSpot? I mean, it's like everything pretty much. So their starter suite isn't really that expensive. But what you have to watch out for is if you increase your activities and your contact, you hit your contact limit and things like that, they will bump you up into the next higher plan. And once you're in that next higher plan, you're stuck. They won't let you go down. That's the fine print. So watch out for that if you go with HubSpot. I got too nervous about that stuff, and I thought, I better look for something else. So I just know I'm going to end up paying more than I want to before too long. Now there's other things, the whole Zoho world out there. Zoho One, that's also like a Swiss Army knife. It's got a lot of stuff, kind of built into one platform. I want to like Zoho, but I don't know. It's never really felt robust enough for my taste. I don't know if that's me being jaded about being in IT for over 30 years or what, but it works. It works, certainly works. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel quite like I don't know. It's almost like the Dollar General store or something when you're really trying to get to something better, I don't know. But I'll say that I've never heard anybody say it doesn't work. About all their products do what they say they're going to do. It's just, it may not be pretty, which is probably what I'm trying to say. There's some other few things out there too, like ClickUp, that does a lot. I've used ClickUp, really liked it for just kind of staying on point with projects and stuff. It works great for that. But with things like Make and ConvertKit, you can kind of develop your own stack too, to get your operations and your marketing all kind of integrated. So, end of the day, you don't have to go with all-in-one. You can create your own system. So I just want to say too, before we get out of here in this video isn't too long, that I'm not an affiliate for any of these platforms that I just mentioned. I just never have the time to sign up for any affiliate marketing. Maybe one day I will, but I promise if I ever am an affiliate of anything, I'll be sure to mention it, because I just want to provide honest feedback, for the things that I have used and trialed and demoed and what works, what doesn't work. This is a real world channel of stuff that I've actually done, tested, and I'm not generating AI script to be a bot and a talking head, which there's so many of these days. So I go off script a little bit and ramble, but hopefully you'll appreciate the fact that I'm trying to speak from the heart on all the stuff that I've actually done. So anyway, that's pretty much it, and I'm interested in whatever your take is. If you've tried GoHighLevel, whether you love it or not, and did you kind of get integration indigestion or fatigue, and whatever it is. If you drop something in the comments, let me know what you think of it, and hopefully we'll get rolling again on these videos. And I hope you like kind of the content I'm trying to provide, with the tool breakdowns and all the stuff in the AI business consulting world. But we'll catch you on the next one. You can probably hear my dog barking. I have no idea what she's barking about. But anyway, see you next time.